Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another hosting.com live stream for our agency success community. I've got two great experts today, marketing, sales background, rich experiences they both have. And also, they're my colleagues who I get to work with every day at hosting.com. And today, we're going to be talking about the real impact of word of mouth on modern businesses. Now, if you've been in business for long, word of mouth is it, right? It's the starting point, it's the foundation. And these two, I'll let them introduce themselves in just a second, but you really do have marketing and sales right here together that are going to be talking about this and how that plays out in your business. Here's some things we're going to be talking about today. How word of mouth is a powerful growth tool for your business. We're going to talk about a 4-part framework we use here at hosting.com, about customer relationships, and finally referral programs. Hey, you two, Ollie and Daphne, thank you for being on. Could you take a moment and just share a quick introduction, what you do at hosting.com, some of your background?
Yeah, ladies first.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I am Daphne Monroe. I'm the head of website and content here at hosting.com. Long story short, I create content and I create what goes on the website with my fantastic team. My background is in SEO. I've been a dedicated SEO for the best part of a decade and also an agency owner myself. For about 3 years working with small sustainable businesses. So really excited to be here, excited to dive into word of mouth. It's a powerful tool for sales, but it's also obviously an incredible tool for SEO and GEO or LLMEO, whatever we're calling it. So there's lots of things we can take away today and implement into our site, learn from our customers, and really increase your revenue if you're leveraging these programs or building your own. So thanks, Ollie. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Daphne. So, hi, I am Ollie Feldman. I am the head of global sales here at hosting.com. So, I lead our sales and account management teams around the world. I've been in hosting for just over a decade and in sales my whole career. So, hopefully, you can bring some of that experience of seeing how the customer journey is affected by word of mouth as we go through this.
Yeah, and these two colleagues I've got the pleasure to work with over the last year and almost a half now. And I wanted to make a note about both of them. Daphne has done many live streams for us at Agency Success around SEO in particular, one of her fortes. And also, I get to work with her, get to know what she's doing with the LLMs. And we're doing some bleeding edge work, innovative work, always on the cusp right there. And it's really awesome. So, you're going to hear some great stuff today, but you need to come back every time Daphne or Ollie present a live stream because they've got really good stuff to share with you. And then Ollie, what I've really appreciated, I think when we met a year and a half ago, Ollie, I was like, hey, we're going to be best friends. I just had to call it for him because
And we are.
sales and marketing working together, and he knows agencies. When I started learning more about Ollie, he's pretty famous over there in Britain working with agencies. He's worked with some amazing agencies, that clients that you probably know. Just to say that the agencies he's worked with are building cool sites all over the world, but I've really leaned on him, learned a lot from him about sales and how it connects, and we've been great partners ever since. So that's my quick intro for you two, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you for the kind words. So, we want to start with what may seem obvious, which is what is word of mouth? Now, people see this in so many different ways of just being someone mentioning you, over dinner or just briefly in passing, but actually word of mouth is a completely structured process of how you can get your champions within your business, that be your customers, your staff, friends and family, to introduce your business to people they think should be working with you. But the key part there is structured. So it's not just people introducing you and shouting about you and saying, hey, these are amazing people, go work with them. It's the structure behind it is really, really important. But yeah, ultimately, word of mouth is getting referred leads into your business. And there's some really cool data behind this. So when you have referred leads come into your business, and this data is across all industries, so this isn't just focused on agencies, but referred leads convert 3 to 5 times higher than non-referred leads. So what does that mean in practice? It means that if you had 10 opportunities to pitch your business to someone, for someone to buy your product or your services, you would need 5 times the amount of leads up front to convert at the same level if they're purely cold. If they've come from SEO, if they've come through your site, rather than coming through word of mouth through someone who has referred your business. It's such a significant and stark figure that you can really see why it's really worth focusing on and making sure you have the right structure in place, the right processes in place to make this work. So importantly, when we talk about that structure, it's more important than anything else to make it your own, because people are referring your business. They're talking about your business. So how do you make sure that it has your tone of voice? How do you make sure that people are talking about your services in the right way and all of your services? So you need to start thinking from the very beginning and look at your brand experience. So how do you want people to see and view your brand? Now, how do you want to be seen externally? You need to make sure that's coming through in word of mouth and in referrals. Your active rewarding is entirely down to you as a business and how you operate and what services you offer, but how you do this. There's so many different ways you can do it, from a one-off fee to a discount on a product to a credit on someone's bill to some really cool things that we've seen, like sending people really amazing handmade gifts in the post. There's so many ways that you can reward it, but it needs to suit your business. If you are really focused on being green and sustainable, you want to have a green and sustainable reward program. And the direct relationships is my favorite part of all of this. Of course, running account management teams, really living day to day with our customers, going out to community events, being part of the agency world here in the UK and around the world when I visit my teams. Those relationships are so, so important. And you need to make sure that word of mouth and referrals are fitting how you want to be running your relationships and making sure that they're working in the right way for you. You need an open workflow. It needs to be really, really easy to go through from someone recommending you all the way through to closing a sale. And you need quality enforcement. You don't just want tons and tons of things coming through that aren't the right people for you to work with. So when you're looking at designing your program, we'll come onto a structure later on in the webinar. But when you're designing it, you need to make sure that you put some, safety barriers in place to make sure you're only getting quality coming through and people are only talking about you in a quality way. And then marketing's favorite one, insight collection. So we want to make sure that you are getting all of the information in terms of where are people recommending you. Is it always happening when someone bumps into someone at a networking event? Is it happening down the pub after work or in a bar after work? Is it happening online on a forum or on review sites? You really need to understand where they're coming from so that you know how to really target it and focus and make sure you're getting the most out of your referrals. And then vendor scaling. So you want to look at scaling out your vendors through referrals as well. That could be you as a vendor, or it could be the vendors that you're using and referring through to your clients. A good example is if you are a Shopify agency and you're referring Shopify through to your clients, you can then scale your presence with your vendor as well, and therefore scale your relationship. And then data ownership. There's many parts to data ownership. So it comes back to that insights collection and making sure you're getting that data through. So it's not just collecting the data, but it's how do you use that data, making sure you are reporting on it, digging into it, and making sure you understand the data. And then, of course, from a GDPR and security point of view, making sure you are securely storing it. Our best advice and how we have always done it is have it integrated within our CRM systems or our billing systems. So the data lives in one place. And also when that person, so the referral that's come through to you from someone signs up to be a customer, you can track that journey all the way back and hopefully be tracking other touch points as well, such as have they visited your website, have they opened a marketing email alongside that referral, so you can really build out that customer journey and understand how to improve it moving forwards.
One thing I want to go back to, because this is awesome, but you said this word at the very beginning, and I have a question for our audience real quick. How many of you do ask for referrals? Say yes or no in the chat, or just yes. But Ollie and Daphne both been around, worked with, and owned agencies. A lot of times when I hear the very first step for that structure is simply asking. Ollie, I know you see this all the time, but it's like so many of us probably forget to ask. We're in the projects, we're doing the work, and we just forget to do the simplest thing, ask.
Yeah. Yeah, it's as a salesperson who has processes in our team, we have a structured qualification process for every single deal we work with and every single customer we are working with. And that means the team actually have KPIs around asking for referrals. So when they onboard a new client, one of their KPIs is they must ask for a referral at point of onboarding. It's the best time to ask when you've got a new client coming on board. Ask them who else they think has the same problem as them or could do with moving for the same reasons. It depends entirely on what your business is and what you focus on. but they will know other people who have the same problems, much as you as business owners talk to other business owners and share your problems through networking. They will have that. So I make that KPI. You then look at it from if you do support and if you have customer service, anytime they have a good interaction with a client, if they've solved a problem for someone or they've helped someone get somewhere, it's a really good chance again to ask for a referral. But you also have to make it part of your entire process. It has to be really structured in terms of where you're asking for that referral, how you're asking for it. So are you just saying to someone, hey, do you know anyone to recommend? Or are you actually sending them to a landing page of information, telling them how to make that referral and what they're going to get for it themselves? It's really digging deeper behind it and actually putting a lot of thought into asking for the referral rather than just, as I've seen in the chat, some people are saying sometimes and some people are saying should be but don't. It shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be a really structured part of your onboarding and every interaction a customer has with you throughout their lifetime with you, because it is the best way to get business and are the best times to ask.
So there's the gold, everybody. You can go ahead and log off right now. I tell you, if you just simply ask, so that is your number one to-do item. If sometimes or no, we don't, just ask. And what I've heard it, and Daphne and Ollie can help me with this too, the way I've heard it easily done is, hey, by the way, my business runs on word of mouth. If you wouldn't mind, I'd sure appreciate you sharing that we did. You can throw a joke in there. You don't have to tell your direct competitor, but tell your best friend, right? So there's an easy way to do that. But hey, right there is
Yeah.
the to-do item.
And there's a really important time where a significant amount of people, and I'd love to hear if you do, if you're watching this, do not ask a referral, when I think is one of the most powerful times to ask a referral. And that is when you're trying to win a new client and you lose them. So if you've gone through the whole process, you've gone through, your discovery, your request for information, your pitching, everything, and they decide not to move forwards with you, or price, they might not be able to afford it. It could be they haven't seen enough value. It could be someone else has just tweaked their interest more. Whatever the reason you're losing it for, it's always good to be humble when you lose an opportunity, because you never want to burn your bridges and you may win it back. And the best way to do that is, I understand we're not right for you right now, but do you know anyone else who you think would be right for us now? And it's a
That-
really nice way to round out losing a conversation that you can hopefully be starting another one.
That's excellent. Never thought about that, even on the rejections. Hey, my
Yeah.
business runs on word of mouth. If you do, I know we might not have been right for your project now, but if you knew somebody that is, we'd sure
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And you know why it works so well is because when you look into the psychology of it, people don't like having to have that meeting and say, I'm sorry, we've decided to go with someone else. So you're giving them that option to give you a positive outcome and introduce you to someone else. 9 times out of 10, they take it and introduce you to someone.
Jamie puts a comment in there, but we've seen it a lot. And right there, you nailed it, Jamie. I had a service provider text me a day after completing the project. How did it turn out? Are you happy with the outcome? Of course, I glowingly responded. So he texted in response, great. We'd love a Google or whatever review. Since it's a small business, we value reviews and referrals. So I think that's the law of reciprocity too. But what you're doing in the mind is inviting them. You're opening a door they might not have thought about. Just, hey, everybody on this webinar listening to later, just ask and swing the door open. And Ollie's giving you about 3 touch points where to put that. So, and we give you a little sample language to do that. Go ask and let us know when you get that referral. Sorry, Ollie.
No, and it's really good, that point that Jenny makes in terms of that text, because you can automate this. If you want it to be automated, you can automate it through text, through email, through social media, however you want to automate it, you can. But I come back to the direct relationship, that when you're asking for an introduction to a company, the automation typically doesn't work. It works fantastic for reviews and getting people to go and do a review. And of course, that is part of word of mouth, ensuring that you've got fantastic reviews online. People will read them and come to your business. But it's that direct relationship of reaching out to someone on a phone. Now, our account manager do this every time when someone on boards. It's that reaching out and, hey, I'm here to help you. I want to make sure everything's gone smooth. It has. Fantastic. Do you know someone else who needs the same problem solving? It's
Daphne,
that personal
did you have
touch.
Daphne, did you have something?
I'm gonna give a whole new perspective in just a couple slides.
Okay. We don't want to steal your thunder either. Okay. Good, good, good. Okay, so everybody got it. Ask. Now we're gonna go on to the next slide.
Thanks, Corey. So here is a significant statistic, if you will, that proves how referred customers will bring in more referrals. And on average, around 30 to 57% more referrals come from people who were referred themselves. So it's a great pipeline to get involved in. And if we head on to the next slide, I'm going to bring a new perspective to the topic, which is about leveraging other programs where referrals can bring you in either fill in a gap in your business, a service that you don't quite offer at the moment, and allowing you to scale and be the person who's solving your customers' problems, whilst not necessarily needing to carry the cost or learn these new tools and skills. So shameless promotion here. We have our referral program here at hosting.com. And if you refer a friend, you will get credits either added to your account or straight up cash in your bank. And that allows a lot of our agency partners that we have different programs, but just simplifying it with refer a friend, it allows people to get an incentive of promoting our great infrastructure. We're the best in the business. So we know this is where your clients need to be sent to. And you get to have some of that clout. You get to promote this on your website. You can build landing pages and SEO around this whole package offering where you don't even have to lift a finger, but you're getting money in your bank account. So, breaking this down into why you should leverage other programs, simply put, number one, zero cost. There's typically an offer or an incentive tied with these different programs, depending on what you are. Maybe it's another agency that you're partnering with. Maybe you strictly do digital ad campaigns, but no design. And you met somebody who is a great designer, and now you guys are collaborating and working together, and their growth is your growth. And whatever offers and incentives you want to provide in that space or take advantage of, you can have. Faster time to revenue. So if there is a gap whilst onboarding or pitching with a client, and you can fill that slot immediately, you can get contracts signed faster. You can keep your recurring revenue coming in, and really just overall enhance that client satisfaction, uh, ultimately leading towards an easier sale, we would hope. Also, with different programs, you can take advantage of seasonal promotions. There's often things going on around Black Friday or New Year, spring sales, things of that nature. So even if they're not your own campaigns, it can keep your customer comms fresh and new and relevant. So you have something new to offer to your clients through your different marketing streams. You can update your landing pages for that content freshness and reap that SEO benefit. There's so many advantages for your own authority in that space. Motivation mechanics. So if there's some sort of reason to hit a target and you get more money for just simply referring the people that you would prefer to do something anyways. Dual incentives, hopefully, for example, the hosting example, where you're filling a gap and then you're also getting something for it. It keeps everybody moving and that momentum going, and then ultimately measurable growth. So you should be able to see these results instantly once you're working in a program that allows you to take advantage of these referrals or these networks that you've grown. So that's my hot take on this and my other other perspective on word of mouth. And yeah, we can head to the next slide. And here's just a few examples of schemes going on right now. So WordPress partners at hosting.com, our refer a friend scheme allows you to refer friends to our WordPress hosting platform and make some cash back. There's also Shopify partners, which is a well-known scheme in the industry. And in England, people say scheme and it means it's positive. Like they have government schemes and it's a positive. I'm an American. When I moved to England, I was absolutely shocked by that, but now I'm using it in my daily language. So I just wanted to clarify in case somebody thinks I'm scheming. It's actually it's scheme positively here.
Never thought
And
of
then
that.
yeah, it's funny. It really did shock me when I first came many years ago. And other examples are tools that you use every day. So again, if you're an agency and you're using things like Canva every single day, and you are working with a s- small business who maybe needs to start doing some design of their own, you can be utilizing these referrals and putting more cash in your pocket and increasing that client satisfaction.
If I can go back a second, Daphne, because I know
Yeah,
this is your huge
please.
forte. When you said seasonal promos up here and you're the head of our SEO and content at hosting.com, I thought to myself, oh, what a great opportunity to pair a mention of referrals with content. So I know we do that, we think in that, but I wanted to get some more of your thoughts because, like, what we're talking about, the referrals, how to do it, ask for it, can also be paired and embedded very seamlessly within your own content. And that seasonal thing you mentioned hit me instantly.
Yeah.
But I wanted to spend some time on this and get both of your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. So from a content perspective, when we look at marketing as an omni-channel, we know that we can take advantage of promotions like this in every touch of the customer journey. So from our monthly newsletter to a ribbon on our top performing blogs for the month, or on our social media, this is an offer that we'd want to place everywhere, even if it's not necessarily the service that we are personally providing. It is something that we're tying our name to and attaching our authority and trust to. So yeah, seasonally, even if it's the same offer all the time, you can add that marketing spin and make that content relevant and put that in front of your audience again and again. Even if it's an always on offer, just something to consider.
Yeah, and I've got a slightly different spin on the seasonal promo side of things, which is, when I put my hosting hat on, seasonal wins traffic. And when you're looking at the seasonal spikes that you could be getting, if you are someone who's built an e-commerce site, if you're an agency who's doing SEO or marketing for someone, you can use referrals to go, actually, I want to make sure all of my clients are using the same hosting, because then you know that you've got quality control to ensure everyone's on the same thing. So the work that you're doing on top shines and works. If you're doing SEO, you do the same thing for every client. If everyone's on the same infrastructure behind it, it does the same job. Whereas if everyone's on lots of different infrastructure, it can be very hard. So from a seasonal point of view, so for going slightly sidetracked, but my mind with seasonal always goes to traffic spikes and everything staying up and making sure everything's
Absolutely.
performing as it should. But that's where you can really leverage referrals to make sure that all of your clients are using the same platform so that your work shines.
Well, and you and your team are shining examples of this, but what I thought you were going to say, Ollie, is events. It's something I've seen you masterfully do and your team. But if I transfer what we do here to the agency, it's if you're going to any event in your community, that's an opportunity to say, hi, my name is Corey and I do XYZ. By the way, I'm trying to get the word out because my business is built on it. You got it right there. But all I want to get that thought, and I know Daphne, you're at a lot of events for us
Yeah.
too. And all of there's things in these icons you've given us. And I thought, wait a minute, seasonal content, events, the dual incentives is interesting, but I interrupted you there, Ollie. Go for it.
Yeah. So with events, events are amazing. Amazing place to go and meet new people, be up to date in your community, make friends, make businesses that you can work with in partnerships, but to win customers. And I'm sure most people joining this webinar have been to events in the past. It's about approaching them the right way, planning before you go to the event, what do you want to get out of it, set yourself KPIs. And that sounds weird to go, well, I'm going to a networking event. Why do I want KPIs? Set yourself KPIs. What do I want to achieve? What's my objective for going there? And then network the hell out of the room. But two key things there is, one, try to move away from founder led. So many businesses and agencies, it's founder-led networking. Try and find the staff in the company who want to be involved, train them if they need training, and let them get out there and network, because you'll get more word of mouth referrals from having more people out there in different personality types who will therefore get on with different people at the events. But I just wanted to add a little tidbit of something that I've seen work fantastically, particularly for agencies, is they will often buy an extra ticket for an event for a customer. And they'll then use that to go, right, well, let's go and have a breakfast meeting to do our account catch up. And then we'll go to the event together. Because then your word of mouth is live. Because you start interacting with someone who needs your product or service, and your word of mouth is right next to you.
Hmm.
Straight away, the other person can step in and go, oh, yeah, well, we do the same thing as you. And actually, this solved XYZ problem. It's the most powerful thing you can do, is to put your customers in front of your leads. And that's how you get word of mouth. If you can do that at events, it's super powerful.
I love that idea of buying a ticket or at least inviting a client to go with you, especially one of your better clients. But, for those of you that are listening to this and going, wait a minute, that means going in public. That means talking to new people I don't know and all that. These two are extroverts. I've been around them enough to go, I just follow them in places. So if you're like me, this is what I do. I got my hosting.com hat on today. That's how I think about it. So at home, I'm just Corey. When I go to an event, I put my hat on and that helps me just bridge the gap real quick. Like, hey, my job, the hat I'm wearing at the moment, is to tell people about what I'm doing. And just thinking of that little role switch, there's a great book called Alter Ego that some of the famous stars from Beyonce to Kobe Bryant and things use alter ego. So if you're worried right now, you're hearing this, you go, wait a minute, that means talking to people. And I've been working with you all for 20 years now, and I know you. I know there's a set of you going, wait a minute, I'm out. She said, talk to somebody. Nope, nope. He said, nope. But hey, switch that hit. No, if you just make the ask, and we're giving you some very simple things to take a chance on, and you can do it. I believe in you. Daphne, did you have something?
No, I just want to add on to that little note there is that especially in these spaces where you're going to network and going to an event, people want to hear from you. And if you are here and you're running a business or you're passionate about the business that you work for, that's more than enough to start a conversation. And I assure you, you will be surprised by the positive reception of what your story is and what you have to say. And that's what I personally love about these events and what we get to do.
Yeah, and if you get stuck on the outside of a group of people chatting, as often is the case at networking, how do you approach the little circle of people having a conversation? I like to butt in and ask what everyone's favorite biscuit is, because you then become the center of attention.
Yes.
It's a nice little icebreaker.
Have that leading question that you can kind of break the surface. That's another great tip, and I love that from you, Daphne, too, is just getting out there. And what Daphne said was, if you really believe in what you're doing, then you kinda have an obligation, you know what I mean, to your business. That's the self-talk I do for mine. If I really believe in what I'm doing, I should, as Daphne said, be willing to tell people who need it. How many times in the last couple of years I've asked for referrals from everything to home maintenance to where to get because we moved 6 months ago. I rely on word of mouth, and so do you, and so do others. So, all right, you've heard it from me. I rang the bell 15 times. Go ask, go try it. Step out of there.
All right. So this next section, we have tried to take the big bad world of word of mouth and break it down into 4 simple concepts. And Ollie and I are going to tag team this from the 2 perspectives, which is one, if you're an agency owner, how you can start your own business, or if you're leveraging a program, how this works for you. So, the number one place we're going to start with is credibility. And as you all know, SEO is the love of my life. My husband is second. And credibility and EEAT are the musts in 2024 and beyond. And the world of AI content, credibility and authenticity are things that humans are yearning for more than ever. So if you're leveraging a program and you don't have that credibility yourself, you probably know somebody who is credible enough to fill that gap and something you can stand by. So, Corey, I love your example about moving houses. I think about it all the time. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to call my best friend and say, hey, do you know somebody who does this? Or have you done this before? Because your network is your web of trust. And ultimately, the web also functions on trust. So building that credibility and then also having this visible on your different marketing platforms, always your website, even if you are a TikTok business, please also have a website. It's very, very important. And put all these different programs on there so that you can boost that authority and grow your online presence. Now I'm going to hand it over to Ollie.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't agree more with what you said. From an agency point of view, credibility comes very easily and very naturally. Because if you run an agency and you've grown it, it exists because you're good at what you do. And people will be coming to you to solve a problem. And you solve that problem by providing your service, and therefore your credibility is already there. But the piece that most people are missing is how are you capturing that credibility and how are you showing it to other people, to other future clients? How are you showing them that credibility that you know you have because you're solving these problems? And it's about capturing case studies, getting quotes from people, and ensuring you're having this on your website and you have it in PDFs that you can share with new businesses that come in online. And I even know of a few agencies who actually do client intro calls as part of the discovery call. Now they'll offer new prospects a chance to speak with an existing client to show that credibility of, yes, they solved this problem. And they'll literally have a little book of, right, okay, well, this person is for a slow website. This person is because their SEO was broken and they weren't ranking in LLMs. And, they'll have a little list of things. But you can do that with case studies and with quotes. So you've got this information to go back because you are already credible because you've built a business and you're successful. So the credibility is already there for an agency, but it's about how do you capture it and how do you show it? Because otherwise, what's the point? If you can't actually show that you are credible, there's no point in having it in the first place.
That's excellent. I think again, you go back to if you're talking with someone. So how long to help you with that talk as you're talking to people? How long have you been in business? This is a great place to start. If you've been in business for a long time, yeah, I've been doing this for 15 years. I even did it earlier, you know? So you're establishing some of you've been around for a long time that builds that creativity, or I'm sorry, the credibility. But I like what you said there, Ollie, case studies, quotes from clients. That's excellent. Okay. So number two,
Yeah, I'm happy to start first in this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So simplicity, one link and a simple message. So with an agency or any other business, it's about making it feel automatic and that it's just part of what you do. This comes back to the point I touched on earlier, which is you need to build it into your processes. It should never be an afterthought of, oh, actually, we're asking if they know anyone. Build it into your processes, build it into your presentations. Even when you're doing a discovery call with someone, you have a pitch deck with your discovery questions about this is who we are as a business. Have a slide in there that talks about your referral program. So from the very first interaction you're having with someone, you're talking about word of mouth and referrals. When you pitch, again, you have the same slide back in there, you mention it again. So you're just these multiple touch points. And then when they onboard, it's not out of the blue for you to come and ask, hey, actually, do you know anyone to introduce us to? Because at every part of your journey, you've already been talking about the fact that you grow off of referrals and that you have this amazing referral word of mouth program. And it becomes automatic and it becomes part of your DNA. And you train all your staff so it becomes part of what they do and celebrate the referrals. If a staff member asks someone and they get a referral, celebrate it like you've won a new client because it will make them do more.
I love that. Positivity is always a win. No matter where you're placing it, you never lose with some celebration of wins. Um, Taking it down to the users who are leveraging different programs. I think one key takeaway is the whole reason you're leveraging another program is because you know that they do it better. So you want to make sure that your process is based on simplicity. So as one link to one tracking affiliate URL, whatever that looks like, make sure that it's not an overly complicated process. One tip that I will say, having leveraged different programs in the past, is make sure you tell your user to always allow cookies. Because if you have a cookie that is tracking your affiliate code and they don't approve or accept that, you may lose that referral just from a button click because analytics are changing all the time. So that's my one key takeaway for today. But then again, when you're messaging this referral scheme to your own clients or your network, you want to make sure that you can capture it simply and not overcomplicate it and make it just, like Ollie said, part of your process, part of who you are and what you do. So we put one link and a simple message. I think it's a
I
neat
think
way to wrap that up.
I think an idea there that I want to get both your comments on is like, okay, so I'm at the, let's say, Chamber of Commerce event or some community event. I've got my handy dandy business card, let's say. When you're handing it to them is, and by the way, they just tell them that you sent me. If they call me, if they email me, but be ready with that loaded information. Now you two might have some even better ideas, but have the conversation loaded. That's that part of that simplicity where it just flows. So, yeah, my name's Corey. And by the way, I live off of referrals. So if you know anyone, here's my card. They can call, text, pigeon me, whatever it is. And I always like to say thanks. So let them know, tell them you sent them to me. And there's a way to tag that. Now, you two might have even better ideas, but I'd love to hear those. But that was the way I thought about it, just making it real smooth and part of the process and simple. By the way, tell them, be sure to tell them you sent me or they sent you. You sent me.
Yeah, and I
So
find that works at events a lot. Sorry, definitely, please go.
no, that's okay.
So what
Okay,
I
I'll hop
find
in.
works.
We got such a little delay. I'm going
Yeah.
for it because I'm hopping ahead anyways. I saw this coming in Q&A, and it naturally ties into this conversation. And it says, "What are your thoughts on offering an incentive for a referral?" And I think that, say tell them that Corey sent you. Kind of ties into that. And I am all for it. I think things that we've seen work really well, especially if you're a smaller business and you're trying to build your credibility, or whether that's Google reviews or a new inflow of clients via referrals. Having some sort of incentive is always going to drive people, and that can be a raffle, that can be something that you give everybody. Maybe you want to give everybody $5 off their whatever, whatever you got to offer. But I'm all for incentivizing, and I think it's the same as a referral program, right? People are more likely to spread the word if they get a little something back too, because then it's a mutual partnership. But Ollie, I shall let you speak now.
No, I think we've got a slight delay. But no, I can agree more. And I would say when you look to build the rewards, it's about really thinking on how valuable that customer is to you. What is the lifetime value of what's being referred to you? And you need to make the reward proportionate. So, if someone's going to suddenly be spending $50 with you, £50, you're not going to suddenly give them £500 for referring the lead. So to make it proportional. And some really cool things I've seen in the past. If you don't want to give a rev share option, you don't want to give 10% away, your margins might not have enough space in them. And you may already have, had a big marketing budget, etc. Also, a really, really cool one where it was an agency putting on an event themselves. And it was a really cool event. They were driving race cars around a racetrack. And they would do it once a quarter. And they would invite one customer, multiple customers, but per car, one customer. But that customer can only come if they bring someone who they think could work with the agency. And if they do that, in each car, there'd be someone from the agency, a customer, and a prospect, and they'd get to drive amazing race cars around a racetrack for an afternoon, a once in a lifetime experience for many people. And that encouraged the clients to go and find someone they could bring because they wanted to come to the event. And I thought that was a really cool way of doing it. But just make sure it's always proportional, the rewards, and make it as high as you can within your budget. If your customer acquisition cost is $500, well, you haven't had to pay to acquire this customer. So pay that $500 to the person that referred it because you've now got an easier sale and an easier close.
I love that. Now, let me give you one more. So there's going to be people like me who's going to be very awkward. What can, I'd like to reward you in some way for that. They're going to be very awkward. And that's the moment when you recognize that and you go, they didn't expect anything, but I should send something. A note, free coffee cup, inviting them to Ollie's race day, like coming along to different things. There's going to be the person that's awkward or can't, or for whatever reason, but there are meaningful ways. And so this is the simplest answer, but I had to switch dentists. And a couple weeks ago, they sent me a bag. They said, would you like a mug? And I thought, I didn't expect to get a coffee mug from a dentist. So I like free stuff. I said, yes. Got it home. This thing's a $15, $20, $30 like mug. And I thought, wow, now they've made an impression. I didn't ask for it. They just happened to give me. So there's things like that, a coffee mug, a simple thank you card, invite them to, Ollie's race day, whatever that is, knowing that you remembered, you knew them. And that's what Ollie said back, I think a couple slides ago, long-term relationship building. I bet you money there are people buying from Ollie who bought years and years and years ago, and he's continued to develop, and that has flourished into a tree of people that continue to go, whatever Ollie says, I'm in.
Yeah, relationships are key.
I think it ties us very nicely into this next slide, which is all about mutual value. And we did cover a lot of things here already, but I really just want to go back to the working together and letting everybody's success be your success, and making sure that, there's probably partners in this chat right now that you don't know yet, that you could be building something beautiful together. And I think that's one great thing about this community, whether you're an agency community, WordPress community, whatever, open source, we're always looking for ways to lift each other up. And that's what I really love about this. And that's what mutual value really means to me. And one thing that I wanted to nod to here about leveraging programs is obviously there are hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of programs I'm sure you could sign up to today. But you also need to make sure that there's that mutual value for your clients with your brand. Does it make sense? Are you pushing things that really align with your community, with your business mission? Um, I'm sure you're not going to go completely off the rails, but it is something to think about when we're visualizing our long-term impressions and lifetime value of these customers. So making sure that not only are you and the scheme getting something from each other, but also that your community is getting the most and that you're really growing in that space.
Yeah, and I think when you're an agency, you need to make sure we touched on the bit about making it attractive and making it proportional, all the rest of it. But I also think you need to, from a mutual point of view, be getting benefit for the service you've referred. So if I come back to that hosting point, if you're an SEO agency and you're doing amazing SEO work, but someone's website's slow because the hosting's bad, you're suffering. But by you referring, you're getting a mutual benefit because you're going to have a better time doing your job. And think about that with all the tools you're referring through to someone. Be it as simple as referring a bank to someone or referring hosting, referring a tool like Canva. Does it make your life easier that you referred it? And there's the mutual values to that side of things as well, that actually you're reducing a strain on your staff or your business by referring this tool or product through to your client. This is my favorite one.
Go on,
So
Ali.
we've touched on this a lot about making sure it's just part of all your process. But this is everything in business, right? You need to make it repeatable and you need to make it scalable. And I think word of mouth, more than anything, has to be repeatable. You have to make sure that you're not doing oh, you referred me this customer, so I'm going to do this one off crazy, let's go for a special dinner. Or what happens when you get 10 people referred next week? What happens when you get 20 people referred? Suddenly it's not scalable and it's not repeatable, which is even more important. You need to make sure that whatever scheme you design is repeatable and can be used by all your staff and can be used daily, 5 times a day, because you want these leads to be coming in. You need to make sure that it can be run. It's not a manual process. It's done properly, well thought out, because being able to repeat it and therefore being able to scale it is the most important piece.
Nice. And from a leveraging a program perspective, I put this line always on, but sometimes special, because we should always have these programs on and be able to refer people to the right places because we know our business, we know our space. But I love the sometimes special because sometimes, as we nodded to with all the different content you can create in this space, you may want to do a Black Friday campaign. You may want to do a special a more extravagant offer that perhaps you want to chuck some money in, or maybe you want to do a raffle. There's different ways to make it newsworthy and relevant while still always being available to your network. So there's a lot of things you can play around with there, which naturally brings me to our own referral program, which I am really excited to share with you all today because we do have a sometimes special thing going on. And right now,
Mhm.
if you refer a friend to hosting.com, you can earn up to $200 per referral, but only for 6 more days. So this QR code should have everything that you need to get started. You will earn $125 USD for each of your first 3 referrals, and then up to 200 after that. It is specific on different products. And at the moment, if you are a current customer, the journey is very simple. All you have to do is log into your existing customer panel, and then you will find your personal referral link from the refer a friend section. Copy that, share that, put it on a banner on your website, put it on your LinkedIn, everywhere, bring it, make noise. And the great thing about our referral program is that we offer it as account credits, as direct bank transfers, or as PayPal. So there's lots of ways for you to benefit from this wherever you want your money to go. So I had to do it. Thank you for listening. We're really proud of what we offer here at hosting.com. And honestly, it is the best of the best. Our infrastructure is bar none. And we've got a great team behind the scenes making things run. So if you're not a hosting.com customer yet, today might be the day. And also invite your friends, make some money. I'll stop now.
Okay, I'm gonna take my own medicine here. So by the way, me, Daphne, Ollie, Nathan, and a lot of people at hosting.com do what we do through referrals. So we'd really appreciate it. Agency success is tied to our hosting.com success. And Ollie was telling me before how it's going great. He's been a fan. Both of these two have been fan supporters from the beginning, made it happen actually. So anyway, that's the moment. See how I just practice what I preach? But I wanted to take just a quick moment and tell you that QR code. So this is something I've learned from Ollie. So on these live streams for the last year, I don't know what you do, but I'm just saying this is an example of being creative and embedding it into your product and making it easy. These are points they talked about. So Ollie, you were insistent, like from the beginning, just put a QR code. And I was like, wait a minute, what? Until I started seeing people doing it. We're sitting here, all of us mostly are probably in front of our laptop or our computer at home, right? But you will be, it's crazy. People will open that up and do the QR code. Test it out and see our process because he talked about repeatable processes, KPIs. This is why it's so important, making it easy. And this is him showing you what it is. But I want to give you a moment just to mention about the QR codes or anything else.
Yeah, I think QR codes is a really good way to, particularly if you get out to networking events or you have business cards, you can have a QR code on your business card, have a QR code on your slides, and just have it in as many places as possible. So you're constantly talking about the fact that, hey, we have this program. And yeah, what I've really like is making it land onto a page that has your proof. Why should you be using us? So you land on some proof as well as being able to sign up to the program makes such a big difference as well.
So this is a shameless thing, but it's also true. Test it out and see. See how it works. Even if you don't sign up, just look at how it works and test the QR code out. But
100%.
kind of like me, I was like, aren't QR codes so much? And I'm like, nope, it's in practice. We're used to doing that from menus to everything else. So just an idea I wanted to point out from this that I've seen over and over. It's worked remarkably well. Putting it on the back of your business card, like you said. Daphne, did you have something?
Nothing to add that's helpful, but I was anti QR code for a while. I was definitely one of the people that was like, "Oh, this is archaic. I didn't know it was going to go anywhere." And now every time I see one, it's just like phones up.
Well, I was at PressConf, our WordPress leadership event that happens every year last week, and Ollie and his team, I've got a badge that's connected to all of our back end stuff so that he doesn't need to be there. He doesn't need to ask me. It just comes through the process. And by the way, Ollie, Katie said I would make you proud, and she took a picture. I had it on my badge. So I carried it in my
Amazing.
backpack. So do the same thing when you're going to events. Put it in wherever you're at and bring your whatever your version of this is to your events and different things as you're moving around in the world.
I have to answer Beth's question
Go for
as
it.
a LLM nerd. I have to. So, if we're talking about large language model crawlers such as ChatGPT and Perplexity, QR codes are very unlikely to be read by these types of crawlers because they honestly, the data shows are not even reading schema data. Which, if you came to one of my webinars a couple months ago, I was like, mark up your website with schema data, and there's been several tests that LLMs are just looking for words on pages. However, there are some very advanced models, Google Gemini being one of them, that I'm sure if you have Gemini connected to your Google phone and you're scanning QR codes, it's getting that data sent through it. There's a lot of data stored in these QR codes. Long story short, if you put it on your website, I don't think that these crawlers are going to read it or you'll get the authority that you want through it. I definitely recommend using an embedded link with anchor text. Okay, I'm done.
And I love that. Love your energy around LLMs. But one thing to note as well is not a bad thing is this gets out everywhere. As long as you're tracking your data properly and you're doing your reporting properly, you'll know what true referrals are and what aren't. But the more people that see your program, the better.
See, and I'll tell you, he's lived that because in every webinar we do, as you know, this is being recorded, it gets posted, you'll get an email, all those things. But we did some QR codes back when agency success kicked off, which by the way, Ollie, we should be celebrating. I think we're coming up on our 1 year in June. But
Yeah, it's
when I
amazing.
asked Ollie, how can we, so I'm the marketer trying to work with my salesperson, my partner. I told you that at the beginning, and he put this together. So see, and that's been in all those YouTube, which was a little question. I go, nope, all he has it figured out. So that's living this system where you know it's easy to use. You can use it. It's going to be lasting, but you just got some great permission there from Ollie, who's lived it. Well, I know we have a question or two. Oh, we missed the slide. I'm so sorry, Daphne.
That's okay. I think there's 2 more possibly,
Two
so
more.
maybe
And another QR code. But a
Oh,
different
go on, Ollie, take it away.
So when we're talking about what good looks like, I'm not going to read this word for word because I think people hopefully have got so far from this webinar what good looks like. You know, it's about making it consistent. And the key thing is that a good referral system is just that. It's a system. It's not a one-off campaign. It's not something you focus on for a week or a month. It's part of your everyday running of your business. And by doing so, you make it repeatable, you make it scalable, and you win more business. I think we covered these points on the last slide, but it's just talking about the fact that, you know, we have our own refer a friend program. It's designed to support those instructions and make it easy for you. And then we have our final QR code on the last slide, which is my one. So 2 things with this QR code. One, if you want to speak to anyone about our referral program, so rather than just landing on a page and you want to have a conversation, this is the QR code to scan, and we can sit and walk you through the program. As I said, we also have agency success programs and various other options, and we can walk you through it on a one-to-one. No one's going to suddenly be sort of shoving sales down your throat. It's very much about having a conversation, informing you about how the program works. Or if you want to talk about hosting, you can do as well. But secondly, when we talk about QR codes and tracking events and tracking everything, Link is a fantastic system that we use. They're not a partner of ours. We're not getting a referral fee. But if you scan that, not only will you get my contact details and be able to book a meeting with me, you'll also get a free trial at Link.
You know, I was just thinking another way is to be a good referral. So I'm sure you all do this, but there are clients you have that you know people need in other parts of your life, and referring them on, I think always works. And you just did it, Ollie. Hey, nothing here, but by the way, here's something to make that easier. But you can do that in your business. You have an HVAC firm. Obviously, that's an easy one, but connecting people. I know my wife, who runs a marketing agency, has a credit union. Well, I know because I live in the house that they have the lowest percentage of car loans, like her, interest rate for car loans in the city. I'm going to tell everybody about that, right? And by the way, tell them Corey sent you, right? Okay. So check out another QR code, see how the process works. And thank you to Daphne and Ollie from hosting.com, 2 of my great colleagues here that I've so much enjoyed working with. These are the real pros giving you some gold today. If you have any questions, we have about 5 more minutes. So post those in the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom app there, and we'll get to them. And I think we actually have
C2. Yeah, there's a couple in there already. So I'll answer Asgar, and then perhaps Daphne can answer the next one. If I get my words out. So the question is, what if we can offer these services on our website? How will it happen? That's a very good point, because you could just create a landing page with a QR code. But actually, that's not the smoothest one-click journey. And instead, you can look for referral programs. There's things like Rewardful and various other options where you pay a very, very small subscription fee to them, and they manage that whole process for you. So they give you unique links that people can go and sign up on your website. They can share it, and then it tracks it all the way through and quite literally gives you a dashboard. You can log in and see who you need to pay what. It's a really, really simple way of doing it. Or if you're a bigger company and you have more advanced billing systems, typically a lot of them have it integrated within there as well, and make it really easy to put tracking links on your website to allow people to share and refer to you. But the key is knowing who it's come from, and that's where those programs come in.
Excellent.
Who do we contact for those details? So that app is called Rewardful. It's from experience, it's fantastic. I've worked with it in the past. It's really, really good. The price is low for what it's doing for you. It is fantastic.
I put that, did you say rewardful.com?
That's the correct link, yeah.
Perfect.
Really good
Well, and
program.
I did touch on Jamie's question previously, but just to reiterate, incentivizing referrals or reviews, go for it. I highly recommend it. People are always looking for a little something to get them going.
Flowers.
And also, if you want to promote our own referral scheme on your website and promote hosting as something that you are offering through hosting.com, all you got to do is log into your customer panel, go to refer a friend and copy that link. And then you can add that link in any CTA button on your website and drive people. Just make sure you tell them to accept cookies, please, so that we can keep your affiliate number attributed to that sale. And you'll just get some money sent your way.
And I'll say, I
And if
know
you have
Nathan,
anyone who, apologies, if you have anyone who doesn't want to accept cookies, feel free to reach out to our team direct and we'll manually onboard people and ensure that it's assigned to you.
and you all know this, but hosting is one of the easiest ways for your business to earn partner revenue like this. So take advantage of that. If you're not doing your own, which we hope we host you and your clients here at hosting.com through our managed WordPress, which rocks because it's rocket. So check out our managed WordPress program. I'm very, very proud of it. It's fast. I put people, my own friends, different people that I know, referred them back to host.com because it's awesome. In fact, my personal coach is moving over there. So it's awesome stuff and use it up. But that's a key part. You know, Nathan talks about this all the time in agency success, that recurring revenue is a key to your business. So I hope you consider that. Take this as the little nudge. You know, we're right before tax day in the US here. Take it for a nudge of like, I'm going to build some recurring revenue next year. Start here at the refer a friend. But we're ping Ollie and see how we can partner with you, because that's what we built the whole agency success community for, is when you grow. You heard Daphne say this earlier. When you grow, we grow. So it's like we are invested in your success, literally, because that's the way we grow at hosting.com. So there's my spiel, Daphne. Any other things come in, or any other thoughts that you two, as we have one more minute before the live stream stops?
I just saw one more comment come in saying, I've been working with A2 hosting for a long time, and now it's hosting.com, but I've never heard about this line of business. And all I got to say is there's no better day to start than today. A2 hosting is our foundation, but when we rebranded last year to hosting.com, all we did was invest in infrastructure, invest in providing the correct products to you to let you have faster, better experiences with incredible support. And we want to share that. So, we're the same people,
Yep.
just always trying to elevate and get better. And you can email me right now, Daphne@hosting.com, and I'd love to help you get involved in this program.
Yeah, and a final thought for myself is simple. It's get out there and ask for referrals.
And let us know when you start getting them. We'd love to hear that. Let Nathan know. Come back. myagencysuccesscommunity.com is where you can sign up and never miss one of these. Daphne, Ollie, and everyone else, thank you so much for being here today and just talking about this awesome subject.
Thank you so much.
It's been
Corey.
amazing.